Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to our chat again with Dan Pfister is our guest today, and he's going to tell us all about his business. In the meantime, that's Greg. He's my co-host.
Hi, everyone.
If you haven't already, please RSVP for our October 9th event. And then also, if you have questions, please put it into the comments, and we will answer them, okay? So Dan, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us what you do. We just met you, so we have no idea what you do. I don't.
Yes.
I do, and it's very interesting. Go ahead.
So tell us what you do and how long you've been doing it.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm thrilled to be here. I really appreciate you having me.
Sure.
I went to my first event just a couple of weeks ago, and I had a wonderful time. So I feel very welcome in the community. And
Thank you.
to answer your
You
question,
have good people.
that's the sense that I got. That's the sense that I got. So I am an intuitive life coach, and I work with individuals and groups of people who identify themselves as high achievers and are also spiritually oriented in some way. So in other words, they feel connected and they have self-trust, or that's something that they're working on. And at the same time, they are very ambitious and they have goals in their lives or challenges that they're seeking to work through.
Okay.
And so I bring the coaching process to the table and partner with my clients to make their dreams come true.
And are you talking more on a personal level or on a business level?
It's typically more personal.
Okay.
And with that said, some of my clients are focused on their careers. And
you can apply it to business, obviously.
100%,
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's intertwined.
Yes, yes. So, for example, if somebody has a very specific business problem that they're trying to solve, I am not a business consultant, but if their business problem really has to do with the way that they're approaching the business or their communication with the people that they work with, that's where I might come in a business context.
The state of mind makes a big difference. Okay.
If you just joined, we have Dan Pfister from Intuitive Life Coach. Okay, we already have a question. Do you work with groups as well as individuals?
Yes. So I appreciate that question. I do work with groups. There's a couple of different contexts. So I facilitate workshops, and that could be for business networking groups. It could be for small teams at an organization or a company. And a project I'm really excited about that I'm targeting to launch later this year is a men's group, which would be a group of men, obviously, who are like-minded and seeking a community of people who are looking to advance in their lives. And the men in that group hold each other accountable and are there not just to listen, but also to hold up a mirror for each other as all of us are working toward our own goals.
Interesting.
Interesting, and you get some of that male bonding time too, so that's good.
How long
is it like an hour or
how long
hours?
is the average session? That's good.
Yeah, so I'll be honest with you, this is kind of in the planning stages right now.
Okay.
But it is very much part of my vision. So it would look something along the lines of a 12-week program where there's a group meeting every week, and that would likely be for 90 minutes to 2 hours. And there would also be a partner component to that where each member has a buddy for a 4-week period of time. And so they are able to meet together between the big meetings to get to know each other on a deeper level and also to support each other on whatever each one is working through.
That's great.
So what kind of training do you have to do this? Is it a psychology degree? Is it something that is more meditative and more of that kind of schooling? How does one become what you're doing.
Yeah, so I really appreciate that question. I have kind of a couple different ways that I'll answer it, so bear with me here. Okay, so the really direct and short answer is that I am a graduate of the Intuitive Life Coaching Academy, which is essentially...
Didn't know there was one.
Well, now you know. Now you know. So essentially a training program for intuitive life coaches.
Okay.
And there was a component to it that focuses on the fundamentals of life coaching. So that program is accredited. And there's another component of it that focuses on intuitive development. So that can mean learning to kind of listen to your own body and energy, and then also how to act on that. And then finally, how to blend that with the fundamentals of coaching. And that's part of what I bring to my clients.
Okay, so how long of a training is that?
That was an 8-month program.
8 months, okay.
Yes, and it included some classroom time, but also really what was super valuable for me was there was a lot of structured practice.
Okay.
And that was with my classmates, and it was with the teachers and mentors in the program. And then, so I mentioned that there's a couple different ways I can answer this. So also, as far as my personal background, I had about a decade-long corporate career, which included management consulting.
Okay.
And so I take the structure and frameworks and communication skills that I picked up in that career. I also have my own journey of personal development and working on myself, building up good habits, understanding how to express and understand my emotions, and kind of take care of all aspects of my health. And so, of course, that's not necessarily a smooth journey. There's been a lot of learning experiences there. Mm-hmm. So I kind of blend all of these things together to take a unique approach to coaching and working with my clients.
What kind of consulting are you doing? What kind of businesses?
Yeah, so I worked for Deloitte, which is a huge company, and I was doing corporate finance and corporate IT consulting. So it was a lot of accounting system implementations, and then also some corporate strategy work.
A lot of discipline as well.
Yes.
That's a big firm.
Extreme.
Yes.
But that, I imagine, definitely helps you doing what you're doing now.
Absolutely, yeah. And then, to be honest with you, there were times where it felt so distant and different from what I'm doing now. But really, the way I feel is I'm so fortunate to have had that experience. Mm-hmm. And again, that's something that I can now bring to this.
Sure,
this
it puts you
coaching
more
work.
in control of that experience as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I also worked in corporate America for a long time before going into creative end, and the amount of learning that you get from that is so valuable. It's very interesting. I just wanted to say, everyone, welcome. Angeles, Jeff, Vicky. If I missed you, I'm sorry. We're talking to Dan Pfister today, and he is an intuitive life coach, and he's telling us all about what he does. Hi, Todd. Okay, so I've got a few questions here lined up.
Excellent.
Yeah, we already got some stuff going.
So,
Keep it coming.
Vicky's asking, for an individual, how many sessions would then be the norm, or is that just based on each person? And are these sessions normally an hour each? Okay, good question.
Yeah, thank you, Vicky. So the most common setup that I have with my one-on-one clients is a 6-month coaching engagement. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And I really don't offer session by session or even month to month. And the reason for that is, with a 6-month time frame, there is, first off, a longer term view for both me and the client. So we're not rushing things, and we're giving room for focus areas and priorities to change. Oftentimes, if someone has a challenge at work, let's just say, for example, and they're really struggling in the office, they're struggling to get on the same page with their clients, it might come through the coaching process that the root of that problem has to do with their physical environment at home or their relationships at home. So that longer term time horizon in the coaching engagement gives us time to kind of go deep and pivot and be patient.
Sure.
Okay.
And then the other benefit of that is the client is invested, right? And I'm invested as the coach. So it's one thing to sign up for a workshop, and it's another to make a 6-month commitment and investment in yourself. And that really can shape and influence the way that you as a client show up to the coaching sessions and do the work in between.
So within that 6 months, is it once a month, once a week? How's the time allotted?
So this is all flexible, by the way, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well. But kind of the most typical or the most standard setup that I have with my one-on-one clients would be meeting 3 times a month for those 6 months.
Okay.
And it's typically for an hour at a time. That, though, is flexible. So this is kind of one of the differences between coaching and therapy, where if we're at an hour and we have a lot of momentum going, the client is getting some clarity, and there's kind of just more to talk through there. I'm not going to say, hey, your hour is up.
See you later. Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
And then with those 3 sessions per month, I also, again, this is kind of flexible, but typically I offer in-between support. And what that might mean is, okay, we're in between sessions and I have a job interview, or we're in between sessions and I have a first date. Can we get on the phone for 20 or 30 minutes and talk through that? It might be that I'm sending a podcast or an article or even a book that that client might find really supportive. And then I also am a meditation teacher, so that in-between support could be, hey, let's get on for a one-on-one guided meditation session during the week.
Okay.
And I know I'm kind of throwing a lot at everybody here.
No,
So,
it makes sense.
It's
very
to me,
good.
it's like an all-inclusive
Yeah, you're
self-care.
helping out and just sending the podcast and
Yeah.
the program is good.
yes.
Go ahead.
And so the other thing I'll mention is 6 months is not a one-size-fits-all. So there are exceptions to that. Some people want to set up a year-long coaching engagement. Those are typically people that maybe I've worked with for a little bit already.
Okay.
And for other folks, especially if they have a very specific and time-bound goal, that might be a 3-month coaching engagement.
Okay. I think it's a good way that you have it set up. Okay, so I'm going to go back to some more questions. Todd, Jeff is not on this with me. Sorry, we've got Greg and Dan.
That's it. But Jeff is
let's
nearby
see.
if you need
Jeff
it.
is nearby. What? Let's see. What does it cost for the
Yeah,
6
we
months?
always get that question. Always comes up.
So that one I am going to cop out. It really does depend on the client's situation, what their goals are, what their challenges are. And like I mentioned, the setup is flexible. So one example I gave was sometimes it'll be fewer than 6 months. Another example is for some of my clients, I meet with them twice a month instead of 3 times a month. There are other clients who actually want to meet every week. So yeah, it really does
What about
depend on.
in a group session? We talked about if you were to do it in a group session, would that be the same price for everybody? Since it would be.
Yeah, for everyone in a given group, that would be the same price for everybody. Again, that's something that, I'll be transparent, is new for me.
Okay.
So the first one I'm targeting to launch by the end of this calendar year.
Okay.
And the group, well, I was going to say, of course, but maybe, this doesn't necessarily go without saying, the group would be a more affordable entry point for most people than a one-on-one coaching.
Okay, that makes sense. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
It'd be a little difficult to have 20 people and different
Right.
prices. for
Absolutely.
everybody. Okay.
Yeah. And then on that note too, for some people, a group is actually more valuable for them than the one-on-one coaching.
Sure.
So if
more support, you're having more.
right, there are other people they're going along with, so you don't necessarily get the individualized attention from me, but you're getting that community and that support.
And you're getting attention from each other, which
Right.
is very important. No, I think it's a great setup. That's a terrific idea.
So I think you might have answered this question already. How many sessions are typically needed for intuitive life coaching? I think it sounds to me like it's an individual thing. Some people might only need 6 months. Some people might need longer, right?
Right.
Or shorter.
Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
and the way that we typically figure that out, and it is a partnership even in making that decision. Of course, I have my opinion and recommendation, but I always start with a complimentary 30-minute call where someone who's interested or curious and has some goals or challenges that they're sitting with.
Right.
So we start with 30 minutes, and then if it feels like a good fit for both of us, then I typically, especially for Culver City Biz, I offer a complimentary coaching session as well, so that person can kind of get the full experience, and
Okay.
so I can also get a sense for
What they need.
what kind of arrangement
who they are and what
fits
they
the
need.
best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and Todd is asking why 1 year? So before you answer that, if you guys just joined, I see some more people joined. Hi, Rick. If you just joined, we're talking to Dan Pfister from Intuitive Life Coaching, and he's answering questions right now, but he told us a little bit about his business. You can always go back and watch on the reruns as well. So Todd's question is, why 1 year?
Yeah, so honestly, a year-long coaching engagement is, at least for me right now, relatively rare. So the most common time horizon for one-on-one is 6 months and then 3 months. A year-long engagement would typically be somebody who has multiple challenges or goals. So for example, one client I'm working with right now, he is focused on starting his own business. He's currently in the corporate world. He also is focused on moving and kind of identifying the part of the country that he wants to live, because he has roots in multiple places. We talk about his relationships. So if somebody is very personal development oriented and has multiple areas of their life that they're working on, that's where a longer time horizon can also be very valuable.
Okay.
And again, at least in my humble opinion, with a year-long commitment, that is really saying something, if you're a coaching client, about the way that you want to approach your life.
Sure.
And the way that you're investing in yourself.
And when someone finishes, they can do this on their own as far as continue it, the meditation and all that, they can do it by themselves, right?
Yes, and that also is a mix, honestly. So what I mean by that is my intention as I approach the end of any coaching engagement, whether it's 3 months or honestly even after that complimentary initial session, if the person is not going to move forward, my intention is set them up with some tools and techniques to start doing some self-coaching.
Good.
Now, for a lot of clients, especially if they're starting with a shorter time horizon, they do decide to renew. That might be that they have new goals, higher goals, they want to build on what we worked on, or they just really like having the accountability that I provide
Sure.
as a coach,
Yeah.
and they want to kind of continue that. So it can go in different ways.
But you did say that you work with more high achiever
Yes.
clients, so
Well, somebody that is definitely looking for it obviously believes that it's going to help, which is
Right.
good. Yeah.
So Todd says, thank you for the explanation of the dynamics and variables. Life happens, I get it.
Yes, that's a great way to put
Well
it.
said.
Do you find that with your clients, they're generally, because you said they're high achievers, are they very grounded and very happy, or are they people that also need some emotional help as well?
To be honest with you, it's a mix. And so when I say high achievers, I don't have a strict definition or criteria. That's really the way that a client of mine identifies themselves. So
Okay.
I'll start with that. And to answer kind of the other part of your question, most of my clients, I would say, are high functioning and stable in their lives and
Okay.
in their emotions. Now, with that said, we're all human beings.
Yes.
I work with a coach, right? And sometimes I am kind of struggling through emotional regulation or certain challenges along those lines.
Sure.
And so I provide a safe space in a coaching session, in every coaching session, for somebody not just to work on their goals, but also to explore within themselves. And that's part of, when I say intuitive, I know that word can sound a little nebulous or woo-woo. So one example of what that means in the context of coaching is I am relying on my own intuition and intuitive skills to pick up on not just the words that my client is saying, but also the energy or emotion behind them. And
Why
maybe
is that
even
word important?
intuitive.
Uh-huh.
I think, again, I kind of think of these two different modalities or approaches to coaching, where on the one hand, it is very tactical, goal-oriented. That might be a little bit better suited for business or even something like a personal trainer, right? Where there's a very specific goal and we're focused on action and making forward progress.
Okay.
That is a part of intuitive life coaching, certainly.
Okay.
But there's also a lot of space for somebody to learn more about themselves and understand how to make decisions so that they feel more alive and that their life and what and who they're spending time on reflect who they truly are.
So in all the years that you've been doing this, do you have like one major common denominator for every one of your clients that they face as more of a challenge than something else?
So first of all, in all honesty, this is relatively new business for me.
Okay.
So,
Putting you on the spot.
No. I mean, I'm happy to be transparent. So I have been at this full time for about 7 months now.
Okay.
Now, with that said, the common denominator tends to be, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this into words. It's kind of like the nature or the orientation of the client rather than what challenge they're working on.
Okay.
With that said, I would say that a very common one is career. And kind of what I mean by that is somebody who they have a job and they might be satisfied with that. They're earning a steady living and they're kind of ready to find something in the context of work that really reflects not just who they are, but what their talents and gifts are.
Okay.
And that might mean they want to start a business. It might also mean that they just need a change and they're still okay working, for a company or somebody else. Another common one, I mentioned that my clients are spiritually oriented in some way. I have one client right now who is a devout Muslim. I have other clients who are not religious, but they do really value faith and trust and connection with themselves. And again, they're also ambitious and have real goals. So I think the common denominator is that they are kind of rooted like that. Their foundation is their faith or their spirituality.
So they're coming to you to reach an even higher, whatever it is.
Yeah,
if it's in their career or spiritual.
How do they know about that? How do they know to come to you and that it's spiritual?
So I mean, one thing that comes to mind is just the way that I market myself, and even using that terminology. And like I mentioned, I'm relatively new at this, so one thing that I've learned is that I was kind of shying away from describing myself and my work in that way toward the beginning. And then I kind of looked around and realized, like, hey, all of my clients have this in common, and that's a big value of mine. So, now I just feel so much more comfortable and genuine in describing my typical client in that way, because I know that some people are going to be like, what the hell is he talking about? No, some people are going to say that's not for me, but there are going to be people who that really resonates with.
They can relate to it right away, and that's how they end up. Okay.
If you guys just joined, we're talking to Dan Pfister, who is an intuitive life coach. We have a couple of more questions here. Is part of your coaching helping people find career goals?
Yes. So the answer is yes. And part of the reason I like that question is sometimes there's an idea, if you're signing up for coaching, that you need to know exactly what you want. And you need to be clear, okay, I want to get this promotion, or I want to start my business, and I need some accountability or guidance in doing that. Part of the reason I like this question is it's just as common, maybe even more common, for my clients to know that they need a change, but they're not entirely sure what their goals are yet. And so the beginning of the coaching process is actually getting really clear on what those goals are, and for what reason those goals make the most sense. Sometimes also somebody starts with very clear direction and goals, and then through the coaching process, they kind of realize that they do want to make a shift. So that goal setting is very much a part of my coaching process. And then again, kind of going back to the typical timeline, working together with someone for 6 months or even 3 gives us time to define those goals with some patience, and then start moving forward and actually working on achieving them and reflecting on how all that's going.
So I have 3 things here, so I'm going to read them all, okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
Todd says, good question, Rafia. You asked why intuitive is important, and I was going to ask the same. I'm a little on the fence. My mom is psychic since the early 70s. She's always given readings, including to me, and I have the same ability. Actually, you don't have to put that out on this form, but it has served me well in my life. That's good. I can read people pretty well, and I can also dive deeper into that. Oh, very nice. Thanks for sharing that.
Love it.
Very cool.
Thank you for sharing that, Todd. If you guys just joined, we are talking to Dan Pfister, who is an intuitive life coach. And I am going to check both spots for any questions. We have a lot of viewers. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We really appreciate you.
Yep.
If you have questions, put them into the comments, and I will answer them for you. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Yes, thank you, Todd. Okay, what else we got to talk about? What else?
What do you want people to know? What exactly to help sell yourself right now? How would you do that? What would you like everyone to know?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say that if you feel stuck in some part of your life, whether that's your career, business, or if you feel great about your career and you feel stuck with your relationships or your community or your physical health, and you're ready to make a change, then I would love to talk with you. Again, I offer a free connection call and explore what that might look like. And part of the power and the magic of coaching that I provide is giving a safe space for people to speak from the heart and really be true to who they are. It's all confidential. And then also I provide a mirror, which means that a lot of times, and again, this is true for me, I work with a coach, the words that somebody is saying, when I just reflect back to them in my own words, the light bulb goes off, and then they kind of realize a shift in perspective. And so it really is a partnership with my clients and myself in guiding them to achieving their goals and really creating the life that they actually want.
Very nice. And how does one go about finding you?
Yeah, so my company is called Path Ignited, and my website is pathignited.com, one word.
P-A-T-H?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll post that as well. We'll put it on.
Yeah, we'll put it in here.
Yeah, and then from the website, it's very easy to book that complimentary call with me. I'm also on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook as well.
Okay, and they can pick various times and however.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a booking system that shows you the dates and times that are available.
Okay.
Is your sessions in person?
I love that question. So I am in LA on the west side, and I really enjoy in-person sessions. That is something that I offer. I also do Zoom sessions. I have people I work with that are on the East Coast or different parts of the country, so obviously that's over Zoom. I also have clients who are local, and we find a nice spot, sometimes outdoors, and we meet in person, and both ways honestly can be very powerful for coaching sessions.
Have you found anybody coming to you that you didn't think that their goals were realistic, maybe it was too high?
No, to be honest with you, and this is a reflection of myself and the way I approach my own life. I am a big believer in thinking big and in my own agency in making things happen.
Okay.
And so I mentioned a little bit earlier that I had a 10-year corporate career. I would not trade that for the world. It was a tremendous experience. Mm-hmm. And I never even considered or thought until maybe a year or two ago going off on my own and starting my own business. Mm-hmm. And it was so powerful just to open up to the possibility of that and kind of break through some of my conditioning and thinking patterns. And so that is something that I love to bring to my clients, to encourage them to think even bigger than they already are. So
you mentioned, I think I heard you correctly earlier saying that you had a coach yourself.
I do.
So did you have a coach that coached you out of your...
Yeah, to coach, to do this. That was going to be my question.
To coach you out of your corporate job into this?
I was trying to figure out how to work that too.
I just want to see.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, it really was through my own personal development and exploration of who I am. And again, I know that can come off as a little nebulous. So part of what I mean by that, if you don't mind, I'll tell the whole story. So my personal development or my spiritual journey, whatever you want to call it, it started kind of at a low point for me where I was super burnt out at work. And I also had a breakup that caught me by surprise. And those things happened at the same time. I was a wreck, all sorts of emotional struggles that I won't describe in too much detail. That's actually what kind of sparked me to start practicing meditation and breathing, to start writing in a journal. And little by little, I just kind of built myself back up by creating and maintaining habits that helped me with all different aspects of my health and well-being. Mm-hmm. And so just kind of continuing along that path is really what opened me up to, hey, I actually want to and feel like I have the power to do my own thing for my career.
And help others.
And help other
Absolutely.
people. Yeah.
And help
Absolutely.
others. But it took some life thing that happened to make you go that way, and that
That's right.
happens for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that's probably
You're
why
not
most people,
alone, right?
yeah,
For sure.
I mean,
and we've all been there, and I think that's probably why most people come to you and they want to
Yes.
do. Yeah, right.
Now, with that said, too, I mean, once I started in my training program as a student, I had already kind of made my mind up. Okay, I want to be a coach and really serve people in a way that's unique to what I have to offer. I got a lot of support in that program, kind of going even deeper into that mindset. And as fate would have it, I was laid off from my job. So my initial plan to start the coaching on the side just became accelerated. I took it as a sign, like, okay, now's my time to just go all in on the coaching.
So, would you say that you found a job that you love, but it's really that you love doing this that found you, kind of thing? Because everybody always says, find something that you love doing, and then it doesn't feel like work, right? So is that something you live by?
Sort of, to be honest with you. So I've done workshops on life purpose, which is a big topic, right? So one way that I think about that and present that is, yes, there's passion. That's super important. Do what you love. For something to be a purpose, at least in my view, is there's got to be an intersection of passion and also gifts. What are you gifted at? What do you do that's unique that other people value? And so bringing those two things together is what kind of gets you to that point where you really enjoy what you're doing. Now, I love what I'm doing. I really do.
It
Sounds
shows.
like it, yeah.
It shows.
I hope that's coming through.
It is.
Yeah.
I also think of it as work. I still do. To me, that's not a dirty word. It kind of makes it an adventure. Like, if it were easy and it didn't feel like work, I don't think I would be as engaged. For me, there needs to be some challenges that I'm navigating. And sometimes there are struggles and learning experiences or pivots or setbacks, but that just makes it all the more rewarding that it is work and that I do enjoy it and keep learning and helping people out.
You're constantly benefiting from it as well.
Of course.
Yeah, it's great. Okay.
And sounds like you have no regrets, like you went all in and you're happy with what you decided
Never
to
look back.
take this path. So,
100%.
And hopefully that's what's happening with your clients as well.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
it's a trickle down effect.
A
for
win-win.
you, for
Very
sure.
good. Okay.
But definitely, if you guys haven't checked him out, check his website out. If you want some sessions, he'll be happy to help you with that. Let's see, there's a few more things. Vicky says, very interesting, thank you. And Todd says, Rafi, I can see you're on the fence as well, but thank you for supporting him.
Okay.
Not on the fence. Glad he's being transparent and determined. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely.
All right.
And so I put his pathignited.com is his website. His name is Dan Pfister. It's spelled Pfister. And we just are beginning to get to know him as well. Like he said, he just came to our last event. We have an in-person event once a month. And so who invited you, or how did you find out about us?
Eva Lee.
Eva.
She
Oh,
pulled me in.
we love Eva. We love Eva. Okay, so Eva invited him. And last week we interviewed Daniel, who also Eva invited. So,
Wow, another
Daniel.
Daniel.
So that's great. But anyway, if you haven't come to one of our in-person events, we have another one coming up October 9th. I did put up a flyer for that in our Culver City Biz group page. Please RSVP. I also have a party full invitation. If you want to be on that, just contact me and I'll get that to you too.
And then location.
We
is
may
subject
have a
to-
change in location, but we're hoping that it's still going to be that location that I put on the flyer. But in the last minutes or the last days leading up to it, I will inform everybody and
Yeah,
make
keep
sure
checking
that
before you
everybody
come.
knows. Yeah. And as always, I want to say this because last month's event we had so many people come, but apparently some left because they couldn't find parking. So I am going to say it again, and I try to put this on every flyer, but I want to express this to you guys. Please carpool. Please take an Uber or Lyft, even a Waymo if you like. Walk, take a bike. I don't know if you can. It would be great because we'd love to have you, and I hate to see people turn around and leave because they couldn't find parking.
Yeah.
So it would be great if you can find ways to make that work for you. Our events are always from 4:30 to 6:30. If you want to be a guest on our Friday Lives, please contact me or Greg, and we
Or
will
you
put
guys.
you. Apparently,
These
you
are two great interviewers as well. I'd highly recommend it.
See, we don't bite, right?
Of course not.
And we don't charge that much. It's not bad.
Right.
It's a pretty good
We
deal.
made it easy for him. See?
Yes.
So thank you, Dan, for joining us.
Thank
And you can always watch this on the reruns, and Dan can answer the questions for you. I tagged him on here, so he can answer questions for you. So keep asking questions, whether you're watching it live or not. And that's pretty much it. Thank you
got it.
again, and thanks, Dan, for coming. And
It's
we
such
will
a
see you
pleasure.
guys next time.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching.
Thanks.
Have a great weekend, everyone.